Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to the podcast that not just tells you what to think, it asks you what you're thinking and allows you to get involved and have your say. It is, of course, the flagship Talking Town Podcast. I'm your host, Martin the Governor Lambert. I was with you yesterday for a dreary, dull 0-0. This is not the land of milk and honey I was promised post-Lambert. I have got a few bones to pick with a few people. I've got a few heirs to bear. Matt, yeah, you can shake your head, Matt, because I'm coming for you first and all. Matt Stannard, welcome in. The GOAT that is Lee Brown. Afternoon. Players not good enough. Time for most of them to move on. I completely agree with you. Anthony Steele, good afternoon. All good, thanks. Hope it's all well with you. Callie, at least someone yesterday got a win from Ipswich. Big up, Fabio. Yep. Matt's face. Good afternoon, George. Afternoon, Andrew. Russell Clayton. Afternoon. Another Saturday ruined by Ipswich. Did we expect anything else? Yes, that's the problem. We don't learn. Well, a man who will never learn about being wrong, because he's never wrong, is, of course, our media mogul. Matthew, good afternoon. How are you?
Afternoon, everyone. You all right? Everyone put their clocks forward?
Yes, yep, I did. I put it forward to the land of milk and honey with Paul Cook in charge. It was all going to be 3 points and happy sailing, but HMS playoffs has not only run aground, it's taken in water in the first 4 sections.
Well, you say that. I mean, Paul did his interview yesterday and said, beat Bristol Rovers, beat Rochdale. We're back in the mix, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If I win the lottery next week, I ain't got to pay my mortgages. You can all make bold claims.
I have to say, I put out on Twitter yesterday, because Cruncher was up at crazy o'clock again yesterday, wasn't he? For his role at Newmarket. And I said, will he stay awake for the match? I have to say, I was dropping off during the game. It was a hard watch.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle. Matt, obviously you're a big boxing fan. Fabio got his win yesterday. Talk us through what you thought.
What is it with these Fabio Wardley opponents? He hits them on the chin and not knockout punches, and they stay down. So he was a bit of a tomato can when he Molina. But I knew he'd do that. And Johnny Nelson said the same in the Sky Studio. He stayed down. He still needs a bit of a test. Yeah, he's had no amateur experience, so he needs a bit of a test. But I wish him luck. It's good to see, Ipswich tweeting and Sky referencing them. So again, nice to know that the rest of the world know that Ipswich still exists.
You called him a tomato can this morning, and it made me laugh. And it's every time I hear it, it's not a phrase I've heard before.
Well, Reg, Reg Guttridge, ITV boxing commentator, absolute legend, used to call these opponents Mexican road sweepers. They were just brought in as opponents. I mean, look at Campbell Hatton's opponent last night. It was 0-10. Might as well got a geezer out the crowd. At least he'd have been 0-0 like Campbell.
Might as well have wheeled me out. Right. We've got our resident chief scout who yesterday was watching 2 games, would you believe, Matt? He was watching the under-18s and the seniors. He's, of course, our resident controversial figure. Sometimes it is the hard truth, and I'm here to tell you the hard truth today, my friends.
Bring it on.
He's feisty, isn't he? He was like this yesterday, everybody. Behind the scenes yesterday, he was being feisty. We was expecting this.
You give me a bottle of Green King IPA, mate, and I'll be I'm fighting anybody. I'll get the old haymakers. But it was a lovely evening last night. Cruncher, welcome in. How was the under-18s yesterday? Talk us through for those that...
The camera was miles away. It was on the roof of the... I still call it the Pioneer Stand, Matt. It's the Pioneer Stand.
The worst in the world.
No commentary. Didn't have a real... I was following it on the ITFC Academy. Shout out to Joe Fairs, who was putting the posts up on there. But they've done well. They were 1-0 down. And then they come back and they won 3-1. So big shout out to them. They've now got Swansea or Middlesbrough away in the 5th round. So hopefully they get through that and then they'll be in the last 8.
Have they got a striker? Because quite frankly, I'm willing to put anybody up front. If Ronald McDonald turned up with pro papers, I'd put him up front at the moment.
Who is up top for those lads?
Don't
Is
know.
that Brown?
Is it Brown?
No,
is
I don't
it?
know if Gibbs was playing. Liam Gibbs was playing. He was impressive. The right back scored a good goal.
So basically, the under-18s game was far more entertaining than the senior team.
Some things never change, do they? Let's
Wasn't
be
difficult, was it?
brutally
Wasn't
honest.
difficult.
Ashley Bell says, "Bring back corporate crunch." Yeah, we didn't. It was a gimmick change quicker than Vince McMahon's opinion on a triple threat at WrestleMania. King Cali Bisler, Matt, thoughts on White? Will there be a decider, or is it time for White to step up to Wilder? Is this Dillier?
Dillian White. Yeah, well, he knocked out Povetkin last night. I think Povetkin was, his legs had gone, I think. But yeah, Wilder, it will be a good fight. Eddie Hearn alluded to the fact they might go to the States to have another fight before then. So maybe Michael Hunt or Andy Ruiz, maybe. Wilder fight's on the horizon, I would have thought, for him. Yeah, 100%.
That's not for me, Matt. Wilder will knock him into next week. White couldn't deal with AJ, and AJ's he's not going to deal with. Come on, no.
Dillian hits him first, it'll be over.
Well, he tried to hit AJ first, and it didn't work. So Ben Moore, can we play on 18 on Friday? They might do a better job. Coxie, afternoon all. You come make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Craig, welcome in, Craig. Nice to see you. White Wilder, big fight for both fighters. Callie, might have to do a boxing podcast, Matt. It's quite popular, this little bit here.
Callie's trolling me already. Did you listen to did you watch the full time show yesterday, Matt?
Yep.
When it was revealed Callie's not backing Marcus Evans, he's not putting any more money in his pocket, yet he's bought a cardboard cutout. House.
Yeah.
He's not going to travel. Well, I don't blame him for this. He said he wasn't going to travel 2.5 hours each way.
No. What he said was, people like Crunch, who are happy clappers, will be first in the queue, and then 5 seconds later mention his cardboard cutout. Hang on, mate. What?
What made me laugh about the cardboard cutouts at Wigan yesterday was there was more cardboard cutouts in the stadium yesterday than there is normally fans when they're in attendance at Wigan. So, they had unfair advantage. It was like a normal scenario for them.
Talking of other podcasts, we have got an F1 podcast, and they are doing a fantasy league, which you two are both a part of, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've done that, have you, Matt?
Come on, Matt.
I've
got a few hours. The links are in the description, in the chat. Join us. The overall winner gets a prize. Try and beat Neil and Steve. I mean, if you beat Neil, it'll just be so hilarious every week. Because
if you're if we want more people watching it this season, the F1 show, because it's really good if you're into F1. There's some really good opinions on there to get into it. Everybody boost those numbers. It's a good show.
Or if you're not, because I'm a rookie fan. This is my first season, so you could be like me, just learning as we go. Ben Morse has done part of it. I'm coming for you, Governor. Well, I'll be last, Ben. So if you're coming for me, you're behind me. You're last. So
what is the race today? What's today's race?
Bahrain. Right.
Is that this evening then? Is that an evening one?
It is 6 p.m.
It's 4 o'clock. Is it 4 o'clock race time?
I don't got a clue, mate.
4 o'clock. Comes on at 2:30. I've always followed Formula One, but Neil and Steve they're absolutely spot on and they know everything. So get on it.
I sit here like this in awe sometimes. Right, talking about being in awe, we have got a fourth member of our team today. Not quite intro yet because she's not made the necessary appearances, but we have got a little something for the wonderful Kate Wiley. Yeah. And obviously he was saved, Kate, a lot of times by Miles Kenlock. Now, this football club has had a really good run of left backs over the years. Cresswell, Mings, etc. I've never seen a player such as Miles Kenlock recover in the sense of every fan almost didn't rate him, but now he's come back into the side and he's made that position his own, and he's really hit a consistent run of form.
You asking me?
I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Disgraceful.
Award-winning contributor, but doesn't answer the questions. Kate Riley.
And now I'm blushing after being already really hot in here.
I'll have to move you then, Kate, because I'm looking like Casper, so you can't be looking red next to me because I'll look even worse. Welcome in, Kate, from the other side of the world. How you doing?
What an intro. I've got to gather myself now.
I do them good, mate. I do them good.
Yeah.
Are you well?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Hello, all the fans. Sorry, I had to put up with that dross yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel so more sorry for you because you've removed, taken yourself to the other side of the world, and we've brought you back. We've just when you thought you were out, we pulled you back in, and
it's that thing of like on a Sunday morning, it's the first thing I. Or do I just wait till we've had coffee and wake up a bit? But this morning, I was actually genuinely quite excited to see what had happened overnight, and then the day sort of went. So there you go.
Yeah, as Russell said earlier, Town will do that to you. So yesterday, obviously 0-0 with Wigan. Where do you want to start? Let's start the team selection, shall we? Because team selection yesterday was absolutely, for me, dire. I'll say it. Matt, you're obviously a big Paul Cook fan. How did you rate yesterday's team selection?
Well, first of all, why was it dire? What was dire about it?
Freddie Sears, anywhere, let alone where we were playing. Stephen
Ward.
I'd rather see you at left back than Stephen Ward.
A player you thought was really good at the start of the season. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
He's not good
now.
Oh my
God, Stephen Ward! What a great signing at 35.
He's not good now. Downgrade over Luke Garber. I was never happy with Stephen Ward. He stepped forward better than I thought he did, and then he's regressed back to his mean.
He's not been the same since he got injured at MK Dons early on in the season. To be fair,
no, he hasn't. Kane Vincent-Young starting, then going off injured.
Weird selection. That was a mistake. Well, we actually called that, did we not? Or some of the shows in the midweek were saying, "Is he really going to be ready?"
I just mute Crunch here because obviously KVY conversations do cause a bit of an issue with Crunch. Yeah. So we'll just take him out of the chat for a second. I'm only joking, Crunch. But yeah,
Matt and had his coffee, Eddie Kate. Matt Holland and had his coffee last Friday.
Are you talking to each other now?
Yeah, we never fell out.
No,
just watching after it.
He's been chatting.
Yeah. So Matt, come on.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sears was a weird one. I thought we wouldn't see him again after his 2 assists against Gillingham. But has he been impressing in training? We know there's been issues in training. They do the double sessions and were knackered, had to go home. So perhaps he was one that impressed during those sessions. Fair play to him. He's always a bit of an engine, isn't he, Freddie, to be fair to him. What's worrying me about the post-match is what I thought, which is why I was calling for a change at Christmas, was when he said, it's they're always hoping someone else steps up. And this is the culture we've had now for a very long, long time, probably going back even to McCarthy when McGoldrick left and said, "Oh, right, yeah, I got into a comfort zone at Ipswich, no pressure to win." Everyone was quite happy to finish mid-table. And we've seen this sort of malaise go right through different regimes. And, and Lambert gave you the impression that we'd just finished where we'd finish. I saw someone write that in the Telegraph or the Guardian. Had the air of someone who just like, wherever we finish, we finish. Do you know what I mean? And Cook's now come in probably with bigger standards than that. We still want to get promoted in 10 games, doesn't he?
11th place, mate.
Yeah, which is why we had to make the change sooner. Which is why we had to make the change sooner.
We spent more on manager compensation this year, Crunch, than we have a striker.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You had to go, Martin. I know you're Paul Lambert's biggest fan, and you always will be. Did you know yesterday, Matt, with that draw, we can get to Martin's 49 points, taking us to 85 points, but only if we win the last 10 games.
It ain't going to fucking happen, is it? Oh, sorry, I sworn already.
See.
He said he's never known. Cook said, "I've never known a team to want." Paul Cook's been in football since '83 when he signed for Marine in the non-league, and been a manager since 2006, right? He said, "I've never known another team like it, wanting someone else to constantly step up. They don't control games. We can't open anyone up. They huff and puff. We finish games nervously." And people think this is why Lambert had to go sooner. That's his culture. Ain't Paul Cook's culture. He said, "My teams don't play like that." And that's why we should have made this change at Christmas, because you would have given him half a season to try and reverse some of these issues. It'd be very difficult in 10 games.
But we didn't, Crunch, and we are here now. And where are we living as Town fans? Because at the moment, I see us living in the void of we've given up, but the club is still telling us we want the playoffs. We'll get to the club in a bit later on in the show. Trust me, I've got a lot in store for them. I've got a lot of...
We've had a sneak preview to this, everybody.
A lot of anger built up for that one. So what? Alan Judge is not going to be here next year, or I hope he isn't. Stephen Ward's not going to be here next year, or I hope he isn't. Like, they're not playing for next year. But as fans, we're kind of sitting back and saying, well, we got rid of Lambert, who was the pantomime villain. Wherever goes, how goes now.
There's not many there that I would keep out of that team yesterday. I put a message in the chat in the full-time show. the team from yesterday and the team that starts the first game next season, I reckon there'll probably be 3 or 4. That's it out of that side. So at the minute, he can only play with what he's got, Martin. He can't suddenly get players in because he's got no transfer window. We're working with Paul Lambert's squad that he built for 2.5 years, and you're calling Cook out, and I think it's pathetic, your stance, because he's had 6 games. 6 games. 2.5 years you backed that manager, the last manager, and he made an absolute shambles. Yet after 6 games, you're calling out Paul Cook.
Calling out?
Pathetic.
No,
I'll tell you what, if I tweeted that out, I would get absolutely caned. There'd be a thread within 5 seconds on me.
Yeah, but that's because it's you.
Yeah, but they don't like you. That's not
Here he comes, spreadsheet. Those were the days.
Don't mention that. His first interview when he came in was what? Promotion. His objective.
He has to say that. He ain't going to come in and say we're going to finish 11th.
No.
At least he's aiming high where Lambert wasn't. Lambert never ever put his neck on the line. Like Matt just said, he was happy with we'll finish where we finish. At least Paul Cook has got some standards.
Well, he's a winner.
Has he?
He's won trophies.
Because I remember after, was it Fleetwood? Go on, Kate.
Oh no, I don't understand. Like when you listen to him in press conferences, he's a very passionate person and he clearly has belief, but I don't understand why. Maybe it's a generational thing. And maybe like the players, they're just of a different generation to all of us, as well as the manager, that his belief isn't rubbing off on them.
And that's my worry. I've never known a manager to start.
That comment there from Callie is absolute bullshit. Cook couldn't do what Paul Lambert or Matt Gill done. What have they actually done? What have they actually done, Callie?
Celebrate good
what have they done?
Well, listen, Richard. Richard, I sound like your mum. Richard.
My mum don't even call me that.
Well, listen, look, Cook's been in since March the 2nd. He's only had 26 days, and as Rich rightly said, he's had 6 games. But let's look back at how good Lambert's start was when he came in. Well, he had 7 games. It took him 7 games to get his first win, 4 defeats, 2 draws, and a win. And then the 5 games that followed, 3 losses, 1 draw, 1 win. So he was hardly pulling up trees in trying to keep us in the championship when he first come in. So you've got to have, like, if you start a new job, maybe an office or building site, wherever you start, all like Kate, you've gone halfway across the world, it's going to take you a little bit of bedding time to get into a new role, into a new culture.
He needs to read this.
There you go. It's going to take you time.
But
he's inherited a terrible culture.
Okay.
Terrible culture.
Yeah, he has. But give me an example of a manager, and don't say George fucking Burley because he was in the Premier League.
Why?
It was in the Premier League. I'm not taking that as an answer.
Why?
That's like
Because why can't they use that?
He wasn't playing bottom 5 Wigan.
We were awful, Martin. Do you even remember back then? Were you actually going then? Or were you not old enough?
When did he take charge?
I think it was 94. End of 94, December.
Yeah, no, mate. I was in my nappies still. I was 10. But
we were awful back then. And he needed to get rid. Look, Ian Marshall's told you before, Stuart Slater, he wanted to get all them senior players gone. That's what he needed to do. And that's what Cook is going to do. He's going to get that big broom out and he's going to sweep the whole lot out.
Which Martin has said since the summer, to be fair. You always said it was going to be transition.
I'm just living with this. We've compensated a manager for not being here, and then we've gone backwards. To be fair, like were we any lower than 10th under Paul Lambert, apart from the year when the season was curtailed?
Half the side though were Paul Lambert signings yesterday. Holy, KBY, Ward, Judge, Norwood. That's 5 from Paul Lambert. Toto and Edwards. That's 2 from Paul Hurst. Sears and Chambers, so Jill and Mick, and then Dazelle and Bishop from the academy. But
the thing is, you're making it a Lambert versus Cook thing. I'm not trying to make it that. What I'm trying to say to you all is,
yes, you are.
No.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, it's a contract between player and manager. Okay, is the manager putting this bunch of players at this point in time, where you're sitting 2 points outside the playoffs, in the best position to succeed? If the answer is anything but
because he wants to play 4-2-3-1, but he keeps alluding to this fact that
I want to be a millionaire. I can't have a credit card bill of $4,000.
He keeps saying he wants to play Norwood and Jackson, yeah? He wants to play Norwood and Jackson together.
One at a time.
He's trying.
Interesting what he said, Matt, yesterday about that, about playing two up front. But there's some credence to what Paul Lambert's saying. Because when Paul Lambert said he couldn't play two up front, we used to said it. We all laughed at him. And yesterday, Cook came out and said he'd like to play another striker, but you need wingers to get the balls in the box. And he basically admitted that they couldn't play like that. So, yeah, Paul Lambert, what he did say then, and we all laughed, there was some truth behind that.
Are you telling me Leon Edwards can't get the ball in the box? Or that kid Thomas who's disappeared off the face of the earth?
The box. Kate, what did you, obviously from a little bit removed from the situation, what did you think of the lineup yesterday?
Uninspiring. I don't think the issue is the manager, but I think what's really disappointing is we haven't had that instant reaction to a new manager. I think it's really frustrating to look at, say, the Cowley brothers and see how they're doing. Sorry, I shouldn't be pulling that face. I just look. It's really disappointing. Also, going back to your point, Matt, when you were talking about Sears, was Sears the only one with a chance yesterday?
Was I asleep then? I don't know. I can't remember.
You got us all out.
4 shots on target.
Right. So, yeah, it's just really uninspiring. My issue is not Cook. My issue is the manager. My real issue is the owner. And yeah, he spent a lot of money, but it's been spent really, really badly. And I'm just worried about the summer. You know, it got really bad earlier this afternoon. Will be first thing morning your time when I start Googling Ipswich Town's lowest ever league position. We're not there yet, but we're close to it.
Well, we're closing in.
1953. That's 1953. The last time we finished this low.
You were 10.
Yeah.
No, I'm not having it. That's not on Paul Cook's head. That is not on Cook's head.
So, there's a good comment there, Martin. Can you bring up the Simon Harris comment now? That's a very good point, because you talk about the Cowleys, Kate, having that they've come in and won back-to-back games. The structure of that club's far better. Like, my old boss runs it, as CEO Mark Callin. That's his full-time job. We know Evans is barely ever at Portman Road, and Portsmouth are used to succeeding quite well at this tier. They've got to the last 2 EFL Trophy finals in 3 years and won one of them, so they're kind of used to success.
That's culture, though, Matt. That's culture where we bin the cups off and don't take them seriously. It's a winning habit.
Winning habit, yeah. Kenny Jackie did a pretty good job there. They actually spent money on players. Marquis, Ellis Harrison from us. So they've got a far better team than us and far better structure.
No, they haven't. No,
yes,
they have not.
Well, maybe they've just got passion
in
a different form than we have.
Listen to Freddie. Ellie Harrison's out for the season. John Marquez hasn't been fit. You've had several players not been fit. Like, they've had injury crises, and they're not as deep as us.
But they've had, if you look back in their very recent history, the last 24 months, they've got to Wembley twice, won a trophy, always knocking on the door of promotion, got to the playoffs last season under Jacket. They've just got better culture than us. Okay, all right. Let's get some fan opinion as always. Milk Tray Man.
Can you just put Jonathan Stringer's comment up there, Martin? Because he's a Peterborough fan. See, that's spot on about Clark Harris. We wanted him. It wouldn't matter if we had Clark Harris, we had Charlie White. They would not score goals in our team.
Okay. Milk Tray Man, welcome in. What are your thoughts on selection yesterday and what you've heard so far on the show?
Yeah, hi guys. Kate, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Nice to meet you. Very disappointing yesterday, and I think I was fighting the urge to have a nice Saturday afternoon nap at about 4:00. I always analogize a kind of supporters relationship with Ipswich like an actual relationship. And for me, yesterday, it was that time where you sit down with your partner and you say, do you know what? We've tried. We've done everything we can. It's just not working, is it? It's time that I care about you. And we have so much history together, but we just have to walk away for you and for me. And that's kind of where I was yesterday at Ipswich. It's that hope and that every game on a Friday night, I think I'm not going to pay that £10. I know what's going to happen. And bugger me, Saturday at 1:25, I'm signing up to iPlayer, and I'm just I'm a bit sick and tired, and it just makes me sad. You could have won a free pass, Ben. If you'd been watching Thursday night, you could have won. You could have saved yourself a tenner. Oh, I know. I think I'm going to have to start entering these competitions because it's costing me money, and it's costing money to be disappointed. It's like it's like having a car that you keep spending money on. It keeps breaking down, you know. And I'm just a bit sad, really. I'm sad. I'm actually sad for Paul Cook. I think if he didn't know what his challenges were by the time he actually came into the club, he sure as hell does now. And I think there'll be a bit of him thinking, what the hell did I let myself in for? The season's obviously a write-off. I would argue it was a write-off 5 games ago. And now I've noticed a bit of a shift on social media where I think rightly that the players are coming under more scrutiny. What they don't have now is the shield of Lambert last time. And Lambert was always the, go to him, get him sacked, get him out. Well, he's gone now. There's no more shield. And I've noticed a kind of a paradigm shift over to players. And I think that's exactly where the criticism should fall. And it wasn't so much about tactics or talent. Yesterday was more about, from Cook, it was more about heart and desire. And I read it. It's interesting. I read an interview yesterday with Alex Ferguson. He was doing an interview, and he said the players I signed at Manchester United, the best ones that I had for me weren't the most talented. They never were, with 1 or 2 exceptions. They were the players that would run through brick walls, that would do extra training sessions, that had heart, desire. You would rather be stretched off the pitch, exhausted, and go on a drip feed than, put in a bad performance. And I think it was really obvious to everyone yesterday that was missing. And it didn't make me angry. I think I'm 12 games past anger. It just made me sad. I'm just so sad to be an Ipswich Town fan right now. And it's something that I love, and I love to invest my time and my effort in, and especially during this shit show of a year, things like this become a bit more important. It's one of the few things you can still enjoy. And I just feel that's been sucked away from me. So I just hope that Paul Cook does get some understanding and time. There's a lot of work to be undone before there is work to be done. It's complicated, it's messy, but we'll still be here. We'll keep coming back.
Kate, I see you're nodding away there. You agree with Ben?
No, I really do. It is a really sad time, and I can't believe Cook's appointment. We just haven't had the reaction to his appointment that we were all hoping for. And then, of course, like the takeover news has all been dampened, and it's just like, surely we're not staring another season of League One in the face. I agree with you. It's been a really tough year, and the one thing that can bring us joy really isn't at the moment.
Ben, I appreciate you. I'm bringing the other Ben. There's another Ben coming in. Ben, as always, love you, man. Ben, what did you?
It was interesting yesterday, guys, when Cook said after the game about Dobra. Brenner asked him, said Dobra done quite well, and he said he controlled the ball a couple of times and kept possession. And I thought that was really telling, because that's the simple things to do. And if we can't do that as a team, I think we've got trouble. Look, I'm not saying them players are obviously talented. Dazelle, Bishop, they're very talented footballers, but you've got to have more than talent. You have to have more than talent to make it at even League One level.
Okay.
Ben? Did anyone think Dobra had broken his arm when the 4 physios went on to treat him, only for him to jump back up again? That's the kind of thing I'd have done. I want 4 physios. Oh, I'm okay now. Hey, Ben, how you doing?
He does flout.
Yeah, afternoon all. How you doing?
Hi.
Yeah, no, basically it's just frustration, just like what Cruncher was saying. You don't see any desire from any of them, really. Only one time I saw yesterday, Ward absolutely, bollock someone on the edge of the area, and they got a shot away. You want to see that from all of them. That's what you want to see. You don't just want to hear the manager say it. You want to see the players do it. And unfortunately, for so many years, like everyone, so frustrated at the Town fan that we just don't see that hunger. You don't see that passion. We go and play football. I coach football. What you want to see most of all from your players is work effort. If you work hard and we lose, fine. We'll work on things to improve. But they don't work hard. They don't work hard enough. And that comes across from the whole pitch for me. It really does. I got excited perhaps twice yesterday when we got in. We got in the right winger, put a cross into the box, and that was it. And that was bad. He should have pulled it back to, I can't remember who was on the edge. But we don't create enough chances. But for me, the bottom line is the hard work, the effort shown is not good enough, and it hasn't been for years.
Very good point now, mate, because I listen to the away commentary to get their feel of what's going on in the games, and they always say, like Wigan yesterday, Our lads will always give you 110%. We might be bottom 4, but you'll always get 100%. You never hear Brenner or Mick or whoever is on the Suffolk commentary going, these lads are always giving it 110% because we know they're not. We know they're not.
Ben, if you're Paul Cook and you know that about your squad, and you're because he says yesterday he's demanding wins against Rochdale, Bristol Rovers, but he demanded a reaction after Fleetwood and didn't get it. So what do you do if you're Paul Cook? Do you bench every senior player and send the message and start the culture change? Because at some point you've got to say, well, as Kate says, they ain't listening to me. So you ain't going to listen to me. You can sit in the stands and watch somebody else, whether it's 18-year-old Zach Brown or whoever. What do you do, Ben, if you're Paul Cook?
Well, after many words with them, at the end of the day, for me, yes, we're not in a great position, but we're 3 points away from the playoffs. I can't see us really doing anything, even if we got in there, but that's another story. But you've got 2 or 3 months now to prove yourself if you want a contract at this club. If you don't, and if you don't show me the hunger and desire, what we all need as a club, then you've made your own decision. There's the door. But people have got an opportunity now to play for this club if they want to play for this club. If they don't, fine. I'm sure Cook will bring in his own men. We need some leaders in this team. We need a spine in that team who are a lot better than what we've got at the moment. We need, unfortunately to say it, we need some League One players to get out of the League One division. Okay, we don't need to get some Championship players who are just after some money down at our place. We don't need that. We need players to get out of the division. We need 2 horrible centre halves who are going to header the ball away, all the time. We need someone in midfield who's not a holding midfielder, who's not an attacking midfielder, a midfielder who's a proper midfielder, who is going to be box to box, not someone who's just going to hold there and pass the ball 5 yards or hide behind the front 2 or fight front 1. We need someone who's a proper box to box midfielder. I mean, we haven't had that. Yes, okay, we've got Downs, but how many times does he perform? Not too many. His mind's elsewhere, and it has been. We just.
I disagree with you there, Ben, about the defence.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats, we've 37 goals in 36 games. Defensively, we're good enough for this league. Toto's massively surprised me. He's probably surprised you as well, Matt, because he's been immense. So I don't really think defensively is where we need to be looking. I think we need a new left back, but you've got Toto, Wilson, Chambers are all got another 12 months. Now, who out of them 3 are you going to keep? Because you've also got Wolfenden, you've also got Corrie and Darber coming back. You're not going to want to keep all 3 of them senior centre-halves, are you?
Bye, Wilson.
No, but for me, they need to be playing as League One centre-halves and stop worrying about passing the ball out from the back, because our defenders aren't good enough to do that. So what I'm saying about having those, we need old-fashioned defenders to get ourselves out of this league.
I do agree.
And we have defended well, but going forward, that's defend. Yes, fullbacks get forward and join in when you can, but defenders defend. That is your job. And then we move further up the pitch to create chances. And that being our, yes, I bang on about the effort, but for me, creating chances and getting anywhere near their goal, how often do we do that?
Well, we don't exactly. No, Ben, I really have enjoyed your points. You put them across really well. So thanks for coming on. Hopefully, you'll come on again another time, because you, like I say, really enjoyed them. So thank you. He's got a point though, right? You need like a Howard Wilkinson back with the Leeds days. You need players for the division you're in. Then the moment you go up, you change the whole structure.
But that's interesting, Martin, because you're saying that. You look at Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, what he done, and how many League One players he had went from League One, played in the Championship. Played in the Premier League.
Yeah, but you know why?
I know that doesn't happen all the time, and probably Leeds are another example in the Premier League. They've got a lot of players who came up with them, and they've played this season. But I think they can only take you so far.
But you know what?
Leicester as well. A couple of seasons ago, Leicester of a couple of seasons.
Spot on. Yeah, but again, it's that contract, the unseen, unwritten contract between manager and players. Manager will put the players in the best position. The players then respond by doing their best and performing. I don't see that happening at Ipswich Town for a long time. It's always been shoehorn.
The point you guys are making there about those clubs is they've all gone up with momentum. If we make it up, we ain't going up with momentum. We've clawed ourselves over the marathon line, haven't we?
I disagree.
I would rather
wins out of 10, man.
Say again.
7 wins out of 10. That would be huge momentum.
We'd never get. We ain't winning 7 games out of
last 10. But if you do, that is huge momentum, right?
You've got people saying, "Oh, we're going to shit ourselves over to the Championship." No, you want to go up with a bit of a statement, don't you? You finished champions, you finished second. I don't know. I think we'll just be. I'm always like looking at the bigger picture. How is this side going to look in the Championship? Well, we'll just be. Would you rather have a promotion campaign next season under Cook with a whole new squad, whole new optimism, or would you rather be hanging on to your Championship status next season?
You sound like me.
I'd rather be promoted next season, quite frankly. Just
all year I've been saying that, Matt. All year I've been saying get through this year to wherever you get through, and then you're going to have a choose transition because nobody's going to be here next year. Nobody. Like Crunch just said, those players there, who would you keep? So you've got James Wilson, Luke Chambers, Toto and Ciala. I'd keep Miles Kenlock.
One. No, Kenlock. I said to you yesterday night.
Games because of a
Miles needs to go and play regular first team football. It's no good in playing 15 games a season at 24 years of age. He needs to do what Josh Emmanuel does. He needs to go and play regular football.
Why can't I play here?
Because the trouble with Miles, he played really well, and then he throws in an absolute stinker, like he did at Fleetwood, a 3 out of 10.
He's a League One player. Welcome to the third tier. Like, I want my money going on strikers and attacking players.
McCarthy, Hurst, Lambert, Cook. You've had 4 managers there. If they really believed in him, he would be a regular left back by now. At 24 years of age, he'd be playing week in, week out. He ain't good enough.
You would have said the same thing about Josh Emmanuel. Somebody at some point's got to say, lad, I've got faith in you. Don't matter what you do, don't matter how you play. I've got faith in you to come through this. Like, he didn't have a bad game, really, did he? It wasn't like it was a huge stinker. It gave
him 3 out of 10 anyway. It gave him 3 out of 10.
He's a stinker, Martin, in anyone's book.
I didn't think he played that badly.
East Anglian gave him that, did they?
I really don't. Andre Dazelle. Talk to me about Andre Dazelle. He, in the week, doesn't want to be a one-trick pony. I'm on the hunt for this one trick he thinks he's got because, quite frankly, I can't see it. Whoops a daisy. So, kick me off somebody. Who is going to tell me what Andre Dazelle brings to this team?
I don't know. I'm a big Andre fan, but
you are.
Even yesterday, look at his set piece delivery yesterday. Awful. Hit the first man so many times.
Oh, we did that in all our set pieces. I mean, Martin thought our set pieces were good yesterday. They were dreadful.
I thought compared to most weeks they were.
I'll tell you what annoyed me yesterday, getting away from that, is we couldn't. Did you listen to the post-match with Stuart Ainsley, Matt, when he was on about throw-ins? Throw-ins. We had a throw-in in the second half down the left-hand side. Stephen Ward, a guy who's played 50 times for the Republic of Ireland, like Stuart Ainsley said, you learn to throw a ball at 8 and 9 years of age. Threw it in at Judge up here, knocked it out for. If we can't do the basics, we've got no hope.
But in all due respect, you're sort of deflecting here because I know you're quite close to some of the Dozell family members. So I think you're deflecting here, Crunch.
No, I'm getting
back to this side of the screen. Matt, Kate, what does Andre bring? What's this one trick he thinks he's got in his locker?
I don't know because I won't pay £10 to watch the team.
I wish I didn't have to either.
Andre, he's a funny one, Andre. He's got talent. And, he turns nicely with the ball and he can pick out a pass. I do feel like the physicality of his game's got better as the season's progressed. He has put in a few tackles. But he does come across, because we always think about his dad, right, with Andre. Languid style, didn't he? His body language was very calm, loose, relaxed. And he's obviously got that as a DNA in him, Andre. So I do feel like it sometimes appears like he's coasting through the game when he probably isn't. But he keeps getting picked by different managers. So he's obviously got something there. I do feel like he should have gone out on loan. Hurst, do you remember when Hurst was umming and ahhing about him going out on loan? He's another one that has just existed within this Ipswich Town 5-star bubble, gone away with the England squads, gone to St George's Park, another 5-star bubble. He's not really slummed it anywhere, has he? He's not really slummed it at I don't know, a Burton Albion or something. I think that would have helped with his experience, maybe.
But I'm not seeing progression. Like, the amount of games he's played from August to now, I want to see a progression. So if you're talking about a bigger picture and always 1 year in advance, and I love that. That's my sort of thinking. So I'm looking next year and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to get out of Andre? Because he's not progressed from August to now. So
no, well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not for us.
Are the managers under pressure?
He gets to go.
Are the managers under pressure to keep him, to keep naming him because of who his dad is and the links to the club? And
I agree. Because when Hurst wouldn't pick him, that was the biggest undoing for Paul Hurst, because the amount of people that were saying he's not picking Andre, blah blah blah. He kept saying he
I
wasn't
agree with
ready
Lee
for sports
Anderson.
science.
I agree with Lee there. I said it in the week.
But then you'd be a bottom six side. You wouldn't score goals. You wouldn't make a tackle. You wouldn't header. You'd have no work rate.
It's the players you got around him. I put my neck on the line here. Andre could play at a higher level. It's the players he's got around him.
You mean
What are you basing that on, though? We know he's got talent, but how? What
I think he's got talent. I just think at the minute,
Andre's got talent?
look at the players he had in front of him yesterday. Edwards, Sears, Judge. Average.
Edwards was good early start of the season until he got injured. Edwards was having a good season. Scored goals.
Yeah, but he's another one, Matt. We've had for 3 seasons, and he's played well for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
in 3 years.
We did give him a red card in the summer, didn't we? But he surprised
All
me.
due respect, you earn the right to play at a higher level, such as the Barnett lad at Peterborough. You earn the right. And you say he'd look better or would do better in a better team. Well, yeah, because he'd be carried. So what you're saying is he's somebody who needs to be carried through games. Better players would carry and hide his deficiencies.
I don't think you can build a team around Giselle. He just hasn't got that. He doesn't have that characteristics. You could build a team around Jim Mogul because he would bollock players until he got the ball. He was a proper quarterback. You could build around that. I don't get that from Andre. I feel like he's someone you can have in the... He's probably too much of a luxury player for us right now, which is what I'm saying. Don't be... I said to you a couple of weeks back, I'm not really bothered if youth players make it Ipswich. Just give me 11 players that Paul Cook can galvanise.
He just signed a 3-year contract. He just signed a 3-year contract. He's one of the players who will be here next year. He'll be here next year.
Signed a contract under Lambert.
Right, we've got Craig, last fan coming in. Craig, welcome in, my man. I'm glad you finally made it because you were in, you were out, you were out, you were in. I'm doing all right, mate. How are you? Good to see you again. What's on your mind about our fantastic football club?
Well, I've got to agree with Crunch what he said about Dazelle. I think if he went in a better team, I think he would shine a bit more. I think technically he's one of the better players we got. He ticks the ball.
Craig knows what he's on about.
Yeah, he does. No, I disagree, Craig. What are you basing that on other than this love affair that is Andre Dazelle?
If you watch Dazelle when he plays, he's a great
Sadly, I've seen every game.
Yeah, no, but he's a great passer. And if we had the players in the attacking areas that had a bit more quality, I think if you put him in an Arsenal team, I think he'd shine. I do think he'd shine.
That's a huge claim.
Yeah, there's look at Blackburn. Why are they interested in him then? Why are they linked with him? Because they obviously see something that no one else is seeing. I think. I agree with Cruncher. I do.
Because I think in Blackburn's team, he'd be off the bench. I think if you had him off the bench, it's not a bad role to have him in. But he's no Bradley Dack, is he?
I don't think Dazelle's a bad player. I don't think that's the issues of what our team is. The issues of what our team is we're relying on players like Sears and Edwards to create chances for our forwards. It's not going to happen. That's why we have one shot on target every game. But if we had better players in them areas, I think, we'd do a lot better.
Dazelle has got really good technical attributes, as we just said just now, but he's still falling in this category, Craig, of no one's taking responsibility. And as a central midfielder, he has to step up. But you might be right. You might be right in terms of playing higher up. But
the problem we've got at the minute is we've got, in our centre midfield, we've got a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old. I don't think they're not men. You need someone who's a man in there next to someone like that.
Yeah, we said that in the summer as well. Enforcer.
Scoots, Kate.
Shut up. The thing is, though, you're not going to get these
right here.
Yeah, chief secretary. You're not going to get these. You're not going to get these better players, though, are you? You're Ipswich Town in the 3rd tier. You're not going to find better players than Guion Edwards and the like that.
I don't rate Guion. I think
no, me neither. Me neither.
I just don't rate him. For someone who's playing in a wide role, every time you get that ball, you've got to take your fullback on, be positive, and there's not enough of it. There's not. You look at other teams, and who did we play? The Fleetwood game, their left winger, number 7. Every time he got the ball, he was running at our fullback, and a couple of times, to be honest, most of the time he scared the life out of mine.
Craig, it was Chambers. You could run faster than him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could. No, but I think it's been our lack all season. But the only thing that I do agree with you, Cruncher, about Cook is it's not his fault at all, but our team at the minute, we've played 4-2-3-1 all season. It's clearly not working, and he wants to keep playing. That's the only thing I criticise him. We need to play 2 up front. I would be playing Norwood and Jackson. Just play them 2 for the last 10 games and just see what they do.
I think he's going to, Craig, because he keeps alluding to the fact that he wants to do it, even though it's not his style. He said, "I will try it," and Lambert never did that, did he? It was this format. You know, So he's going to try it. But that then shows how desperate we are, because his normal culture he brings into a club when he takes over. And he's always taken over in the summer, Cook, over the last 10 years. It's not working. He's now having to think of a plan B. And he's always been plan A. As Rich said, he's never had a plan B.
He's getting them pieces of the puzzle, because it's like when Freddie was on Martin with you last week, and he said it's the three who play behind that striker that are the vital ones. And yesterday we had Judge, Sears and Edwards, and all three of them, I'd clear them out. They need to go. Yeah. Don't offer anything. They don't score. They don't create. No. They're nothing, boys.
We're a nothing club,
Sears
aren't we?
He's overweight. I think he's looking at him now to what he was 3 or 4 years ago. Overweight, slow. He's lost it completely for me.
He probably is. They're not training properly. They can't do double sessions.
Yeah.
You've been around the game, Kate, for a long time. Because when you hear that come out earlier in the week that they can't do the training sessions, what is your first thought?
Furious, absolutely furious. Just it's really annoying to hear how unfit and lazy that comes across as. They are lazy and they're fit and they're not hungry for it. Then it was like we had 11 games to go. Now we've got 10 games to go. We've got 9 different teams to play. Like, why aren't you busting a gut in training, proving to the manager? So
absolutely.
That number 7, Craig, is Wes Burns. I just looked it up. Wes Burns. Yeah, right-sided player. Decent. He was decent. Right.
He looked quality for them.
Someone to look at. Yeah.
Craig, love you. Appreciate you as always. As Blakey says, the 30s hit everyone. Certainly hit me like a steam train. Like an absolute steam train. Right. Well, I think we've pulled that one apart quite well. We've got some other things coming up, of course, but 7 wins needed out of 10. There's some favourable games in there.
Yeah, but we keep saying it's like the next game is another must-win game, and then the one after that is a must-win. Look, we're playing 23rd and 24th the next 2 games. Come on. Yeah. But the players are not good enough.
You've got players there, presumably, fighting to stay in League One and not League Two, where ours seems to be going through the motions.
Yeah. And I think that training issue will really shine a light on for Paul and show who's hungry, who wants it, who doesn't, who moaned, who didn't. And that will tell him a whole lot more than perhaps some of the games will, because if you can't train right, you're not going to play right.
Part of me is embracing some of these non-performances, because whilst in the short term we go, it's a bit crap and we ain't going to make the top 6. Long term, it's going to prove dividends, because then Cook knows exactly what we need. When we get to the summer, when he took over at Wigan and Portsmouth, he come in May, had the whole summer to build those promotion-winning teams. He can do exactly the same here. So we're just going to probably have to be a little bit patient and just temper our expectation a little bit, I think.
But I keep coming back to, it was Paul Cook who set the objective. It was Paul Cook who set the expectation. We've got a fairly decent squad by League One standards. Is it a top 8 squad? Potentially. Is it 11th? Certainly not. It's his job to find a formula. It doesn't matter if it works long term or not. It's his job.
He wouldn't shirk that, would he? Because he keeps saying, I'm a positive person. I'm an upbeat person. We're not going to be negative. Tomorrow's another day. Let's go again.
But when he said yesterday about, Brendan asked him about, do the players believe they can get in the playoffs? And he said, if I'm honest, no. That was worrying. At least he's honest. He's honest. I think maybe some of the things, Martin, that he's saying, he's maybe a little bit too honest at the minute.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe. Can be a double-edged sword, that. Yeah.
And this is where I come into... Go on, Kate.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what did I say in my notes? With a bit of luck, we'll make the playoffs. Never seen a team like it, as you were saying, Matt. As in, like, not stepping up. The players don't believe they can make the playoffs, hoping someone will step up. Sorry, what?
Yeah,
I know.
It is. He's looking for them ingredients, guys. That's what he said, the ingredients. And he's searching around in that cupboard, and he's got some mouldy old prunes or something at the minute. And he's
I tell you what, I tell you what, it starts from the head down, and this is Marcus Evans.
Here we go.
The whole. I'm really
strap yourself in.
The thing is, no, don't big it up bigger than what it might be, because I'm really angry, and the whole football club is stale. The whole football club is just rotten.
Great.
The recruitment, the everything. And at some point, you've got to say enough's enough. And when we talk about player turnover, I don't just want it to be player turnover either. I want it to be everybody, from the general manager who came out in the summer and said, we're going to win the league, or we're going to aim to win the league, or be in the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs 2 years in a row, goodbye. Mediocrity is not something we associate ourselves with, Mr. Lionel. Adios, amigo. I want my recruitment analyst removed because my recruitment was too poor. I want my chief scout removed. I want my kit man removed. I want everybody associated. No, I want everybody associated.
Kit man?
Yes, everybody, down to the tea lady. Everybody who's been associated with this football club for the last 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to be removed because mediocrity is set in. And you have to remove it. If you've got a rotten tree in the garden, you have to pull it out from the roots. You have to get rid of it. Everybody should be looking over their shoulder for these next 10 games and saying, is it me? Because this club has slid into an absolute cesspit of mediocrity where it's acceptable to lose a game and post on social media about something or not care or go to a cup game with an air of, yeah, don't really bother me. Doesn't matter to my club. It's unacceptable. And as fans, you have to say, look, in the summer, you all told us this. In the summer, you promised us this. We got Ollie Hawkins. We got Stephen Ward. Blackpool got Luke Garber. We've had downgrade over downgrade over downgrade in every department. And at some point, I'm not going to accept it anymore. Like, stand up. Don't accept mediocrity as a football club and say we're going to do something, but back it up with actions. And if that means people's heads roll, that's the nature of football.
It all stems with the owner. It all stems with the owner. Whoever's, like, you can get rid of your kit man, your tea lady, everyone. Like I tweeted yesterday, Marcus Evans at the game today. Clear as day, Marcus. The mess our football club is in today is ultimately down to you. Underfunded, season upon season, 11th in Division 3. Absolutely embarrassing. And everything falls on his head. Look, we see this morning, we were tweeting that guy. He's sticking by the owner, wasn't he, Martin? Saying, "Oh, they had a good budget."
Yeah, no. But he sets the budget and then he goes and negotiates with the agents and the players. And this is what. And so when Marcus Evans negotiates with a player or an agent, he doesn't know what he's negotiating. It's like telling a 10-year-old to go and negotiate. If Paul Lambert says to him, "I want a striker," and you turn up with Ollie Hawkins, quite frankly, you just look yourself in the mirror and say, "What the was I doing this summer? What was I doing? Did I back?" Look, if he spent more time backing managers instead of sacking managers, we might be a decent football club. We really would. Because he spent more money in compensation over the last 5 years than he has on probably buying a striker. And strikers win your games and points win prizes. And
well, we started the summer, Martin, being linked with Clark Harris and we got Hawkins. And
I hate to hate on Hawkins, but he's a system player that isn't our system. And again, that comes down to, at some point, as a football man, I'm sure Barry Fry sits in his office and says, right, he wanted this player, but that price is ridiculous. We move on. I don't know if Marcus Evans truly grasps, even after 13 years, the game of football, but he's in charge. So you have to put your best foot forward and you have to tell your fan base and sell your fan base that mediocrity isn't acceptable. And yes, I'm still here and you might not like me, but I don't like mediocrity either. So that's when the changes come in. Because if he's going to be here, he has to show us as fans that he doesn't accept it either.
But it's just not the club. We see the pictures in the week, Martin, of the field turf at the back of the co-op stand. Been there 20 years. The porter cabin's there. It's a disgrace. It's not just the football team. It's the whole club from top to bottom. He's just left it, just the roof of the north stand. How long did that take to get clean? And I know it's only little things like that, but it's like when you buy a house. If you don't look after it and you don't, we've got a leak there, I'll just leave it, it won't get no better, but I'll just leave it. You can't do that. You have to take care of things. He doesn't care.
But it is the little things that matter, though. It is the little things. That's what,
No, you're right.
I don't understand why he won't sell. You're the guys that broke the exclusive that we had 2 bids in for us, 2 different groups in for buying Town. I don't know why he won't sell.
He's a ruthless negotiator, okay, and he's a businessman at the end of the day, isn't he? He wants to come out of it. He's thrown 100 million down the toilet, enough to make anyone cry. That figure, isn't it? Enough to make your eyes water. So he wants to try and get some kind of return on that.
He's not a football man, and he acts like it. And I think he potentially will sell still. It's a waiting game, and sadly the league isn't helping because we're losing games at our end, but we're not getting further away from the playoffs. So as an owner, you're sitting there thinking we could still get in, So that could double my investment, or it could mean I get more money back, or, you know, there's so many different things he could be sort of negotiating. I don't know. But at some point, as fans, like Wigan, I spoke to Barry from Wigan, and he told me off air they were organising a protest because their consortium was taking too long. Over 200 fans were going down to the stadium on Saturday because it was Paul Cook's return, big game, high-profile game, to demonstrate. Then it went through, so it turned into a party to the point where the owner had to come out and say, look, don't come down because, you know, we'll have a big party when it's safe and proper to do so. And I said to Barry, how did you organise over 200 people in COVID times? You know, he said, well, the club or somebody did tell us not to do it. And our reaction was, F off, it's our club. We'll go down there when we want to go down there, not when you tell us or ask us or invite us. Ipswich Town get 10 people down the training ground and get lambasted. How dare they? How dare they?
What about the COVID regulations? It wasn't even 10, was it? 5 of
whatever it was. They were going to throw tennis balls on the pitch and the old Charlton move and things like that. And I was amazed. Ipswich, we're half asleep. And it's a worry because we're sleepwalking towards being an AFC Wimbledon. That's depressing.
Got new ground though. Plough Lane.
Yeah, Plough Lane. Might be nice. Talking of world football, the World Cup qualifiers. I think who wasn't impressed with San Marino or England? Well, I wasn't.
Is this our united goat?
Yes, let's have it. For those not quite aware of what a goat is, it's where we have a moan of the week. So something that might have got your goat during this week, Kate. Have a little think while Matt tells us what got his goat.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't even for someone who used to work at Wembley, I'd completely forgotten, because we're now so entrenched in lower league football with the show, that it was International Week. And I just like, you put these games on, like the England game, Matt, and it's just like painful. I'd just rather have domestic football going all the time. Premier League, Championship, whatever. It's just painful to watch. And I don't know, we're playing San Marino and all these little clubs. I mean, all these little nations. I mean, fair play to them. But we had a really good debate on our WhatsApp in the week. We were saying, is like World Cup qualification outdated? Because as Martin rightly said, you're running the risk of having the most showpiece competition in world sport, having some of the most marketable nations not there. Like in the last World Cup, I don't think Italy made it, did they? Or you might not have England get there or whatever. So I don't know, it just seems like an outdated model now. You don't qualify for a cricket World Cup, do you?
Kate spent time in the States, obviously, and they're big on their business and sport. The American sports wouldn't have their most marketable teams having the risk of not going to the showpiece, would they?
Oh, no. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really backwards in Britain. Yeah, it's funny. I guess in the States you realise that where the priorities are. So the priorities are the stars and the marketing and all of that. And, they really know how to sort of get people in the stadium and stuff. And here, not here, but, back home in England, it's just culturally a bit different.
So my proposal was send the big teams to the World Cup, and then put all the little teams in their own world group, and you'd get the occasional surprise team going to the World Cup. I wouldn't mind rooting for San Marino in Group F as they're facing the mighty Italy, Paraguay.
One game, San Marino.
So it's a waste of time. So Harry Kane trots out there last week, Crunch, does his cruise shirt, breaks his leg, whatever, out for 2.5 years, out for a year, isn't fit for the World Cup. As it sounds to Kate there about the Americans, they wouldn't have Tom Brady trotting out for a pre-season friendly and missing the Super Bowl.
But they're making the World. Are they making the World Cup more teams, Matt? The next time they want to. Is it 48 they want to go to?
48 they want to do. Yeah, they want to do 48. Why don't they just base it on like you would in the tennis, for example, like the world ranking? So if you're in the top, I don't know, 32, you automatically go through to the World Cup. And then you've got 16 wild cards, wherever it's going to work. Because you wouldn't tune into Wimbledon if Federer weren't there, or Andy Murray weren't there, or Nadal wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? People go to Wimbledon to watch these stars. People watch the World Cup because they want to see the best players. Do you know what I mean?
What about the year England didn't qualify for the Euros? It was the most flat summer I think we've ever done. But let's be honest.
2008.
Is it right and fair for the countries like San Marino? I mean, it can't be fun turning up, getting smashed 5, 6, 7-0 every single time. It can't be.
I look at it from the other side. It's a chance for them to play at Wembley, an iconic stadium. And if you take that away from them, you've only got to look at last night's result. Luxembourg beat Republic of Ireland. Cyprus, they were winning 2-0 against Slovakia, came out for 2-2. So football should be inclusive for everybody, and these teams do need to grow. And I do get your point. I think they should have their own qualification where they have to, because look, San Marino the other night, 5-0, could have been 10-0. I remember back in the late 80s when we were playing Turkey. Now Turkey have improved now. We used to whack them about 8-9-0. So, but they've progressed. They beat Holland the other night 4-2. So unless these teams get the opportunity, they're not really going to improve, are they?
Wouldn't they get more money if they qualify for a World Cup, though? So, and wouldn't it be more fun for them if they were playing, I would root as a fan for Barbados in the World Cup, or St. Lucia, or what you'd call a little team, but a dark horse. And when you draw out a family sweepstake, you'd be well invested in San Marino, like New Zealand were in that World Cup. I was really bigging up New Zealand, thinking, come, let's do it. It'd be great for them.
But then you look at why is the next World Cup in Qatar? Why is that there? Because Qatar, they don't play football there, do they?
The OJs once sang about it, my friend. Fantastic song. Check it out.
Don't tell Xavi they don't play football out there.
Did anything get your goat this week?
Was it an interesting voting process as well? I got that.
Did anything get your goat?
No longer involved,
reading on the forum, fans forum this week, TWTD forum, sorry to mention that here, but
I'll put her on mute now. I haven't really.
No, just reading that perhaps the takeover was off, and we were discussing it over dinner one night this week, my husband and myself, and his point was, they probably said, well, if we buy the club now, we're offering you 10 million. If you don't take our offer this week, we'll offer you 8 million next week. So you decide. And then maybe Marcus said no. And I get your point, Matt. Marcus is a businessman. He wants something, there's pride here as well as money. And we get that. Just very disappointed, and I felt a bit flat, really.
Put Callie's.
No, I'm not giving that airtime because that was disgraceful last weekend. Okay. I'm still upset about that. Somebody pretending to be someone from our podcast causing issues. We wouldn't cause issues. We've all got halos. Keep the faith, okay?
Yeah.
It's still ongoing. It's still rumbling in the background. We're still going to go through. I've got the faith.
All I'll say is I got a message from someone closely associated with the deal. It was before this rumor came that the takeover was over. Their language was very positive, shall we say. It wasn't negative at all. So I'm like you, Martin, we'll just keep the faith.
Absolutely.
Also, you're trying to, we've still got a chance of going into the championship, haven't we? In which case, because we're in a non-commercial league at the moment, League One, right? There's no money in that, but of course, you go into the championship. Suddenly, the price of the club is better. So,
yeah, but no, Marcus Evans.
Now's the best time to buy. We're a depressed asset.
But no, Marcus Evans. He's probably not had time for us recently. So
a depressed asset and a depressed fan base.
Absolutely, Cruncher. What's your goat, mate?
So my goat. It's on the international theme. Is Matt? Matt might agree with me. I want to know how Adi Boothroyd is the England under-21 manager, and he's still the England under-21 manager. Now, right, Northampton, Colchester, Coventry. I remember when he started at Watford. I don't know if you were at this game. I think it was the season when Joe Royle was there. I think it was when Kuki was injured and we lost them 2 or 3 games at home. Watford come to town and played some of the worst football.
Was that Jordan?
No, that was
this the
2-1?
Was this 2-1?
Yeah, I think it was 2-1. And they were awful. And then they called him Hoofroyd, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because he went to Northampton, Colchester, 2014. So he took over the England under-20s. And I'm thinking now, so he's been there for 7 years. Failed. Still, look, England haven't won a trophy. England haven't won a trophy since '66. Now, look, we won, was it the under-18s, Matt, a couple of 3 years ago? When Foden was playing, but under 21s, these tournaments, look at the players he's got. He's got Foden, Maddison, he's had Reece Jones, all these players he's got coming through. How on earth is he the under 21s manager? I've got no idea.
I can answer that, but I'm not going to on air.
Yeah, I know the answer as well. I think I've spoke to Matt about it off air.
Let's
all
just say West Bromwich Albion influence through the upper echelons of the FAH, I think.
What we can talk about,
Because he was there as a youth coach.
Is your media mogul story this week. What is your media mogul story? Let's run through it. Let's go.
Well, we've got international theme. We've been talking about international breaks there. We've got Kate on the other side of the world, so I'm keeping it international. We're going to Colombia and Fortaleza FC. This is a story I read in World Soccer Magazine. Great magazine. Get it? Really good one. Been going for decades. And Fortaleza FC. They're mid-table in Primera B. So they're not exactly winning titles or anything, but their main goal at the moment is to win the Rey del Twitter. They want to be the kings of Twitter. So in order to launch their new strip and get the supporters to buy it, they have hired this guy. Have we got Carlos there, Martin? Remember this guy? There he is. Carlos Valderrama. Look at his hair there. You ever have
My
your
hair
hair
looks
like
like that when I wake up in the morning at the minute, Matt.
Absolute icon. So he is starring in a bizarre cartoon, the World Soccer Magazine called it, on the club's website, which features Carlos Valderrama as a fortune-telling wizard prophesizing the arrival of Fortaleza as the new club that will return the fun of soccer to our lands. Look, could be Ipswich this, couldn't it? And also helped by their new kit. And to go with the theme of the cartoon, the players enter the pitch when they come out of the tunnel just as this. Martin, you got that one? And if you listen to this on Spotify, they are wearing superhero capes and shades. So there we go. So when we launch our new kits in the summer, let's get someone dressed as a prophesying wizard.
I can see it now. Judge Andre Kolskius and Luke Chambers. Beautiful.
There you go. The radio Twitter, the kings of Twitter.
Oh, dearie me. And I've got something that was sent in by Matt, age 30.
I had to go and help my mum move some stuff out of cupboards yesterday. And she said, look what I found there. It was a scrapbook with a Muppets on the front. And when you turned over there, I had my little Ipswich Town scrapbook of 1980-81. And that's what I'd drawn inside. Look. Is that the Suffolk Punch or Frisian Cow? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. It looks like some sort of Power Ranger thing. You know, looks great. Looks great. Crunch, what you got for us?
So in the week, Everton have been given the go-ahead for their new stadium at Bradley Moordock. So 25 years they've been trying to get a new stadium. Finally given the go-ahead by the government. 500 million, 52,000. So I always remember, Matt, Everton growing up. So in the 80s when I was getting into football, and I could name that team now that they won 85 under Howard Kendall. And I've also always liked Everton. They say they're like the family club in Liverpool. Z-Cars, great theme when they come out the tunnel. But then they put a really good clip out. I don't know if Martin's got it available of the new stadium, and it's like Spurs. I went to Spurs' new stadium. I don't know if any of you have been there. No. So they turn over £1 million per game, because when you walk through the bars at Spurs, it's not quite like Portman Road, obviously. They do contactless, though, there.
They do. Great stadiums. It's a different world.
It is a different world. This is where it's going, because Goodison Park, I think have you been there, Kate, Goodison?
I haven't actually, no.
Yeah, fantastic stadium. Obviously, they got the church, haven't they, in the corner.
It's a bit old
in your way end, you've got, if you sit in the lower tier, but the seats further back, you've got pillars in your way, and it's a real old school proper stadium. So like they were saying, it for a lot of Evertonians, it will be really sad when they leave there, but for them to progress now as a football club, you need that, not just your 30,000 fans. It's what like you can do on a match day, isn't it? Bringing it in. And I think, look, Everton, they've got Ancelotti now. They're on the outside of the sort of Champions League. So to take that next step, and I think even Liverpool fans are probably, this is as Liverpool as a city. It's not just Everton, because I used to watch back in like when the Merseyside derby games. They'd sit together, wouldn't they? Families. Liverpool, Everton, side by side. Can you ever imagine Ipswich Norwich doing that?
No. Well, they've got the park, Stanley Park, isn't it? The stadium's right across each other, aren't they?
But Everton are a side that we should take inspiration from, because in the early 2000s, I remember them being for sale for £1. They were always fighting relegation, last day dramas, but they always held themselves to the Liverpool account. we are as good as Liverpool. We are as big as Liverpool. The outside world would look at them and probably think, yeah, you're not.
They couldn't play that team. That Howard Kendall team couldn't play in the European Cup because we were banned from Europe, weren't we? They won the cup.
Stadium, so that was a shame.
Yeah, they won the Winners' Cup against Rapid Vienna, I think it was. Yeah, great team, really good team. Have you got the clip of the stadium, Mike?
Yes, I have. Here it comes. Where is it? There it is.
See, what's great about these plans is it's a way that the area can make money outside of match day.
Have you seen them then, Kate?
Yeah,
I haven't seen them.
It's just really beautiful, and that's going to bring a lot of money to that area and jobs. I kind of wish we were having the same thing in Ipswich.
Yes, that's a good thing, Kate. So Ipswich Town, if we built a new stadium, look, I know a lot of people, Portman Road, you have your match day routines when you go to your pub or whatever, but to get a new stadium, it's like Arsenal when they move from Highbury. Then you'll have different routines, won't you? And you'll go to a new stadium. That's the way you progress as a club.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks really good.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I always thought that Sugar Beet site should have been a stadium.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Great location by the A14. Not too far out of town. You can't stand in the way of progression as a football club. And
that looks like, Kate, you'll be able to tell us, that little entrance bit we saw there is very American looking, isn't it? We never be
stadium. It is, like concourse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. You can imagine then sort of having a big, a big statue or something, and then fans pose in front of there, or you'll have like a samba band or something, getting people all wrapped up.
Bit of atmosphere on that, yeah.
I'm amazed.
Mike Dean in the chat there saying West Ham fans wouldn't agree, but they would now. Their own bespoke stadium, didn't they? It was the Olympic Stadium.
Can you just put the sound up a little bit, mine?
I can, yeah.
Here we go, Z-Cars. Great theme. Because Watford have this as well, don't they, Matt?
Do they?
Yeah, not this part, there's Everton and Z-Cars. No one else.
Oh, yeah.
Post-pandemic, if we had this at Ipswich, all of this can be rented out for conferences, little filmings, big and small. Oh, that looks great. All these season ticket holders get to watch.
So Man City have got that at their ground, Kate, where the players come out. You're behind glass and you can see them, but they can't see you.
Right. At Atlanta United, the players just walk through the bar. It's really surreal.
But look at this. Look, it's just.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's gorgeous.
It is.
And you've got a great manager at the helm as well in Ancelotti. There's a lot of money behind Everton as well. I mean, they brought Hammies in, didn't they? They started making moves with.
It's the way forward.
Yeah,
it's the way forward. And I think for too long. I mean, if you look at the plans for the Waterside, Ipswich, there's so many grand plans that never get done because people stand in the way of progression sometimes. It's like you've got to keep moving forward, otherwise you end up with just Town playing Rochdale, Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the end result. But there we go. Yeah. What a show! An hour and 14 minutes. Kate's probably half 11 at night.
No, it's not too bad. We've gone forward an hour. It's actually 9:45 here, so it's almost my bedtime now.
Boom. Right. I've loved the company of the three of you. Anything else before we sign ourselves off?
I don't think so.
We're done. We're dusted. Lovely.
Keep smiling. I'm sure good times are on the horizon with Paul Cook. I'm absolutely 100% confident of it.
Join us tomorrow at 8:30. Myself, Amy Downs, and what's the nickname? What's the gimmick for Victoria Crunch?
No Filter Yorkshire V. Did you see her tweet yesterday she put out about watching the game? It was
she's trying to rival you, isn't she, for controversial tweets?
I'm not going to say because Kate's on, because it's I'll send it to you, Kate. It's
Cruncher holds this really high opinion of you, Kate. Before the show, he kept saying, "Don't swear, don't swear."
I didn't swear. Who was the first one to swear today?
I was.
You. So don't have a go at me. I'm just going to find it. Keep talking amongst yourselves. I'll read it out.
If Vicky's watching, it's Yorkshire V brewing up a storm. No filter.
We're live at 8:30 discussing more of the Wigan fallout. Obviously, 48 hours plus removes. What do we think? looking ahead to next weekend's games. Hopefully,
There we
some
go.
takeover news. Cruncher, go
Are you
for it.
ready?
Mm.
There has been moments during this game where I was so bored that I considered squeezing my dog's anal glands.
I don't get it. But anyway, as always, thank you so much, Bald and Blue. Thanks to all that have watched. You can support us on Ko-Fi. Every little helps. Kate, an honour. Matthew,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Cruncher,
You don't get
you've
this at any other podcast, Kate.
yeah, Cruncher,
What's
you've got.
You don't get anything like that on any other Ipswich Town podcast.
Oh no. It's all here.
Absolutely. And Cruncher, you've made it through an hour and 15 without upsetting anybody. It's an absolute miracle. But
Oh,
until next
come
time,
on.
with love, with care. See you tomorrow. 8 day.
Bye.